Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Dave from Military to Millionaire, bringing you a super cool military millionaire car video. I don't know what to call this. I think of like Dan Locke, who has the billionaire in a Bentley, and I'm a Marine in a diesel Jetta sports wagon. Doesn't quite ring the same, but you know what? I don't need a freaking Bentley to be happy with my life yet. Actually, Bentley's not my style. I don't think I'll ever own a Bentley. Nonetheless, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about some things as far as trying to plan future for risk mitigation. We've been talking a lot about risk mitigation lately. Things like hoarding cash, not buying emotionally, not selling emotionally, trying to think through what ifs and buying based on worst case scenarios. You should read my article on man, shouldn't have eaten those Fritos. You should read my article on mitigating your downside risk, because that's a huge concept. The biggest thing as far as real estate or investing in general is mitigating your downside. It's surviving, right? What could hurt you can hurt you worse than what, the upside. So a 50% downturn will crush you much worse than a 50% increase in the value of your portfolio will actually help you. For example, you have 100 grand, you lose 50%, you now have 50 grand. But if you gain 50%, you're only back to 75. Or if you go the other way around, you have 100 grand, you gain 50%, you're at 150. But if you lose 50%, you're still all the way down to 75. So either way you cut it, a 50% up and down swing, you lost. Or 50% down and upswing, you lost. So, it's important that you understand this kind of stuff and mitigate your downside, how much risk you have, and all that wonderful stuff. So anyway, I've been thinking about all this, hoarding cash and different strategies for the future, and being more conservative, holding more cash for vacancy, holding more cash reserves per rental unit, budgeting a little bit higher for vacancy, of course, and just kind of sitting back and wondering what's going to happen. And I wanted to talk to you guys about something that's going through my head, because I wrote an offer on a duplex today, and people are kind of asking why would you were just talking about hoarding cash, why would you write an offer? Well, a couple of things. One, this is 20%, 30% below what I think the market value is for this property, and it looks turnkey, which is just incredible. But the reality is you got to know your market. So in 2008, the Springfield market, where I invest, didn't really take much of a hit. Most of the Midwest didn't take a huge hit, 5-10% maybe. There are some overpriced Midwest markets that may see more damage, but for the most part, the Midwest is not gonna, just crumble. It's not, the world isn't gonna end. It's gonna be okay. And so understanding that allows you to budget a little bit more for what ifs, because you're buying in more of a cash flow market as opposed to an appreciation market. Now, a volatile market like San Diego, obviously, the appreciation you can get is awesome and can really help you out with building your portfolio long term, and it can be incredible. And I'm not saying anything negative about that, but you got to watch it, because that doesn't necessarily mean anything good during a downturn, right? Because it can swing back the other way. It's a pendulum. So I prefer to invest in markets where the pendulum instead of doing big swings, because I just would prefer to stay that way. Now you can build some definite wealth. Now you best believe, if I'm living here in San Diego when this guy knocked it out of one. Now you best believe that if I'm still stationed here in San Diego and the market takes a 50-60% hit here, there's a good chance I'll buy a property and let it come back on the upside. But at the same time, I'm not going to stop investing in Springfield because I'm worried it might go down, because that's just not a big fear for me. So let me put this into perspective for you. In a market like San Diego, if I found a 15% discounted property right now, I don't know if I'd pull the trigger, because if the market takes a hit, it might lose 30, 40, maybe even 50 on a terrible, terrible loss percent of the rental value, right? And then 15% discount means that I'm super underwater. However, in somewhere like Springfield or Kansas City or some of these Midwest markets, if I bought a property at a 15% discount and the market takes a hit like it did in 2008, then I might lose 5 or 10% or even 15%. Hell, even if it's 20%, that's still way better. And I'm still positioned. It's probably still cash flowing. In fact, it is, as long as it's rented. And so it wouldn't be nearly as detrimental to me. So I can afford to move probably a little bit less cash reserves. Plus the numbers are smaller. We're talking, covering $500 a month in vacancy for a rental expense, vice like $3,000. And so the numbers are just different. They play out differently. You need less budgeted, this, that, and the other. So it's really important to you to understand your market and understand some of the aspects associated with that, especially because this one, the corona thing, is probably going to be more of a regional issue than a national issue. Now, I mean, obviously it's going to be a national issue, but it's not going to affect every market or sub-market throughout the U.S. the same. Small places that don't really get hit by the virus might see a decline, but as soon as they open up, it's not going to be anything crazy. It's probably going to go at least somewhat back to normal, or whatever the new normal is. It won't be the end of the world per se. Whereas markets that just get absolutely slaughtered, like New York, right? Like right now, New York is the biggest hub. They've got the most cases, and so they're going to see a much larger effect. It's going to take a lot longer for them to bounce back to normal or somewhat normal, because there's just a lot more variables there. They've been going a lot longer. There's just a lot more stuff to worry about there. And so you never really know how any of that's going to play out. So you need to keep a pulse on your market and kind of see what's actually feel out what's going on. And you really need to just try to understand what is up with your area, right? Don't worry about the national level so much as the regional level, because at least for the time being, that's what I see being affected. Now that could change. I really don't know. This is my kind of narrative for what's going forward. I don't really know. I'm speculating. But, I could see some people not paying rent. There's definitely some people doing the rent strike thing, but, at the end of the day, they got a lot more to lose than they have to gain. And I really don't think, and I certainly hope that doesn't take popularity, because who knows, maybe if people really want, like, nationwide rent control, that's great, but then, what does that do? That just, completely eliminates the free economy for real estate. It's kind of crazy. I don't foresee that happening, at least not in the next, as long as President Trump is in office. I would imagine that the real estate market on a national level won't change so much for the negative towards investors, since that's kind of where he made his money. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. This is political. Look, I just wanted to talk to you guys quickly about a few different mitigating things you can do. So like hoarding cash, being conservative on your numbers. Don't get emotional, make sure it's a good deal, but, don't let that stop you from making investments. Don't, you can speculate all the way down. Either you follow this all the way down to the bubble and wait till it starts coming back up, or you see what happens and you buy as you go here and there. Who knows? So maybe, it just depends on your market and your risk aversion, your risk tolerance, but definitely don't put yourself so far out there that you're going to struggle to make ends meet. Just, you do you, boo-boo. Anyway, so this is just a quick video talking about all that stuff. If you guys got questions, comments, concerns, throw them down below in the comments. If you want to see me do some more videos and live stuff. I've been doing a lot of live stuff on my Instagram. I'm doing another one here in a few days with Royce Real Estate. And I've been trying to do a lot more videos and Zoom chats and stuff. So a lot of content with the mastermind group. We've been doing like virtual hangouts, drinking and talking through what's going on, holding each other accountable. So there's a lot of opportunities out there, guys. And my friend Alex said it today on our call that you need to invest in some optionality related stuff, which means like invest in things that have a very, very low downside and a very high potential return. And an example of that would be something like a book. Like, it doesn't really cost you much to buy a book, but there's a huge return on your investment, or a potential return on your investment. So he mentioned like investing in books, investing in people, investing in content. And so that's, just some of the stuff that you never know could play out really well for you. Can't hurt. I'm a huge fan of the intellectual property and content side of things, especially right now. I think there's just a lot of value to be made that way, which is why I'm documenting a lot of my thoughts throughout this. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So I hope this was at least somewhat valuable to you guys, and I hope you got something out of it. But definitely, stay the course. Don't let the panic get you, right? Like, no matter what's going on around you, don't freak out, don't be emotional, don't panic, don't make irrational decisions. Just stay calm, stay collected, stay stoic. This is all your military training, bearing and stoicism. Use it. Keep your bearing, keep your poise, stay the course, and hey, who knows? Maybe out of this recession or COVID thing, some of us will become military millionaires for reals.